Have you ever looked a man in the eye and seen purity? Not innocence, discipline, the kind you can't fake, the kind that only comes from restraint. Because the way you've been living, it shows in the eyes, in the skin, in the way your presence lands on others. You can't outrun the truth of your lifestyle, and on your face, that truth is undeniable. In the West, we say, the eyes are the window to the soul, but on retention, they become the mirror of your will. Your face is not just flesh, it is a signal, a map of your nervous system, a reflection of your hormonal state, of your shame or your strength. It is the first signal others read in your presence, with power, with dominion exerted over his own being, a telltale sign of how you've spent your time, whether you've been dissolving into pleasure or sculpting yourself in silence. Of typical signs of attractiveness, symmetry, skin tone, leanness, most can be traced back to internal health. The appeal of vascularity, muscle, and leanness is simply the recognition of a body optimized for survival. But the face, it signals something deeper, a full system optimization. When a man relieves himself constantly, his body is always in recovery, always recalibrating, hormones scatter, prolactin spikes, testosterone crashes, and you can see it. If brain fog gets to you, it shows through your dull eyes, in slack posture and faded presence. But when you resist, when you choose not to collapse into that urge, the body begins to reorganize. Like a nation shifting from war to strategy, like an operating system that optimizes its resources and redirects energy toward higher function, your system stops fighting and starts building. Your body follows higher instructions. It reclaims energy. It begins to sharpen, to polish the vessel, to carve the man you are meant to become. So what really happens after 90 days? First, prolactin, the hormone that floods your system after you finish, drops. Lower prolactin is linked to sharper thinking, faster testosterone recovery, and less inflammation across the board. It doesn't just improve your mood, it upgrades your whole system, especially your skin and your nervous system. At the same time, your dopamine baseline rises. When you stop flooding your brain with constant pleasure, it resets. Thoughts get clearer. Drive comes back. Creative energy returns. And because dopamine affects your muscle tone, posture, and emotional expression, your face starts to change. It gets brighter, more focused, more present. Because dopamine's not just a good feeling, it's a directional force. It's how the body chooses where to go and how strongly to go there. When that system is no longer hijacked by artificial highs, your whole being, including your face, returns to coherence. In other words, your natural facial expressions begin to return. The human in you becomes more prominent again instead of the hungry ghost of a depleted man. You become relatable again, a man with presence, with power, with dominion over his own being, not a shell, not a man numbed by indulgence. And most of all, your face stops looking guilty, stops hiding. Your skin improves because your body isn't inflamed anymore. No more dullness, no more breakouts, no more dryness that clings, even when you're well rested. Prolactin messes with your sleep, and poor sleep shows itself in every inch of your skin. Now your blood's carrying oxygen the way it's meant to. Your cells get the signal to regenerate, not just survive. The dullness fades, the glow returns. Not the fake kind, the real kind, the quiet glow of a system in balance, of a man in alignment. And the eyes? Some men say they brighten, not just in color, but in focus, stillness, a gaze that holds, that doesn't dart, doesn't beg, doesn't flinch. It sees, it stays. And that stillness, that intimacy with your own fire, it changes you. You start to see yourself, and that light reflects outward through the eyes. Your eyes are portals, mirrors of essence. The Shen, or spirit, shines through them. But only when your Jing, your essence, is preserved. When you're drained, that spirit is scattered. Your gaze flickers, it loses weight. But when you hold, the spirit concentrates. Not in a way you can fake, but in a way the world can't ignore. She doesn't need to know about hormones. She doesn't need to study dopamine pathways. She just feels the difference. Most men have a hunger in their face, a chasing energy, a tension without control. But the man who holds, his eyes are different, still, clear, unbothered. While he's not perfect, he finally feels free. And she sees the absence of need, and it confuses her, intrigues her, draws her in. You are no longer radiating desperation, you are radiating direction. This practice isn't just physical, it's spiritual war. Every day is a test. Will you discharge the tension or carry it upward? That tension reshapes you. You begin to look like someone who can bear pain, someone who has depth, someone who's dangerous but calm. And that look is rare. In a world of instant reward, you are becoming a slow-burning flame. And people notice, even if they don't understand why. So yes, your face changes. And it isn't merely from chasing perfection, but because you're practicing truth, living by truth. And when you do this, you give your body the clean slate that it needs to reorganize itself, to optimize itself for becoming worthy of reproduction. Your blood is clean. Your habits are aligned. Your body is no longer a battlefield, but a cathedral. It takes 90 days. But the first sign of change is when you look in the mirror and no longer feel shame. Not because you're perfect, but because you're rising. When spirit rises above instinct, it becomes limitless. One day at a time, one urge at a time, until the eyes you see of the man in the mirror match the vibration, the calling that you feel in your soul. If you're still listening, I guarantee you it's there and ready to come out.